Welcome to the Richard B. Atkinson Memorial Courtyard and our ribbon cutting ceremony. I'm honored that you have joined us today. This beautiful courtyard was a dream of Richard's. It was envisioned and brought to spectacular reality in 2008 by National Medal of Arts recipient Jesus MOROLES. We are very fortunate that Jesus is here with us today. Please help me welcome him.
In history, the advancement of civilizations has been measured by the quality of their artwork they produce or acquire or collected or commissioned. Like the pyramids or the Michelangelo's David, this courtyard will be here long after we're gone. History has always been written in stone, and Dean Atkinson's legacy will always be remembered here in stone. His legacy will be remembered by the usage of this courtyard and the enjoyment of this place. We have created a haven, a sanctuary from the hustle and bustle of the outside in the heart of this law school. When Dean Atkinson encouraged me and entrusted me with the responsibility of creating a space that would be the highlight of the university, he was thinking big. He was a dreamer. It was a dream that I shared also. I call this place a dreamscape. I feel humbled and grateful that I am part of this project and invited here today. When the Clintons were in the White House in 1996, a sculpture they initiated a sculpture exhibit in the First Lady's Rose Garden. I was fortunate enough to be invited and included. And in Mrs. Clinton's speech to the artists, she told us that she and President Clinton had their first date was in a sculpture garden. I wonder what great things will begin right here.
Thank you so much, Jesus. And thank you for designing this absolutely stunning memorial courtyard to our good friend and colleague. It truly has become a community gathering place that Richard dreamed of. I want to say how grateful I am to each of you, Richard's closest friends and family, for being here. You honor Richard's memory. Thousands of law students will use this space. I hope that some of them will come here when perhaps they're feeling a little low. Perhaps maybe they aren't quite sure if going to law school was the right thing. Perhaps they'll find some extra reserve or strength and determination in this very special place to carry on, to persevere, to do better, to make a difference. So my deepest thanks to each of you for honoring Richard's memory with this beautiful courtyard. I'd like to invite President Clinton, our governor, and Michael Hollomon to come forward to cut the ribbon.
Michael, let's let the arch get up there with you too.
Yeah, come on, Jesus. Come. You put your hand on it here, everybody. Okay. One, 2, 3. You did it right.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the dedication of the Richard B. Atkinson Memorial Courtyard. I am Cindy Nance, Dean of the School of Law, and I am honored that you have joined us on this very special day. Today we celebrate the life of a remarkable man who had a passion for people, the law, for education, and for making the most of every moment. Let us make the most of this day, this gathering, and this celebration of his extraordinary life. Many of you know that one of the many joys in life that our friend Richard Atkinson delighted in was inspirational gospel music. We are fortunate that the University of Arkansas has alumna Ella Lambie, the executive assistant to Vice Provost for Diversity Charles Robinson, to favor us with her rendition of This Little Light of Mine. Ella.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Yes, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
And the people said,
Amen.
All right. Thank you, Ella, for that fitting opening, because as we all know, Richard was one who shared his light with each of us. It is now my honor to introduce a distinguished Arkansas alumnus and 1972 School of Law graduate, Governor Mike Beebe. His law career, which began in Searcy, included being named Outstanding Trial Lawyer of Arkansas in 1982, serving as president of the White County Bar Association, and receiving awards for distinguished service from the Arkansas Municipal League and the Arkansas County Judges Association. He was elected governor on November 7, 2006, following more than 2 decades of dedication to Arkansas public service as a state senator and attorney general. In his time in office, he has been a great friend to education in general and this institution in particular. Please welcome Governor Mike Beebe.
Thank you. Thank you, Dean. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President, Chancellor, Senators, Dean, Atkinson family, and friends. It's an honor and a pleasure for me to be here. I was just sitting over here thinking about what in the heck I'm going to say, and you were talking about my law career. And you know, the President and I took opposite approaches to this thing. Before I really got into politics full-time, because you know state senator is a part-time job, you got a real job besides that. I tried to make my money and make a living practicing law. The President went the other route. He got in politics first, and now he's making all his money after he got out and being president. The truth of the matter is that because of this law school, both he and I made enough money to be Republicans. And every time I come back here, the nostalgia kind of, yeah, that's true. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. The nostalgia wells up every time I come here. I was telling some of our folks earlier about what we used to do. See, I missed Dean Atkinson by 3 years. He came as a professor 3 years after I graduated. And I missed President Clinton by 1 year. He came as a professor 1 year after I graduated. And so I've heard a lot of stories about both of them. The better ones were about Dean Atkinson. Not true, Mr. President. They loved you too. They thought you were a good teacher too. And you got to admit, I mean, the guy started, well, a lot of places claim that he started there. Hot Springs claims it, Hope claims it, Little Rock claims it, Fayetteville claims it. The law school could claim it. But he did all right for a kid from Arkansas, you know, don't you think? But now we have this beautiful courtyard. If you haven't had the opportunity to see it, please take the time to go see it. We just cut a ribbon out back. It is a marvelous place. Jesus did a great job in the design. It is a tribute and a fitting, I think, tribute to somebody who, as the dean said, and as we heard sung, let his light shine on so many people. And that reflection and that memory will be ongoing for generations to come. It was said out there when we cut the ribbon that this was a great place for kids to come and meditate or to relax or to perhaps get renewed if they were so down that they wondered whether they would even or should even be in law school, a feeling which accompanies most law students from time to time. What we used to do for recreation, don't laugh, we didn't do that till later that night. During the day, while we were in law school, what we used to do for recreation is walk across the street to the Baptist Student Union and play ping pong between classes. Justice Newbern, I don't know if you ever joined us over in any of those ping pong matches, but I think, Dean, you ought to move a ping pong table out to the Atkinson Courtyard because I'm sure we've still got some students that would enjoy that. But it is a place, a beautiful place, and a tribute to this law school, and a tribute to the students who will come generation after generation. But most of all, it's a tribute to Dean Atkinson for his loving, caring, compassionate, forward-looking nature. He was tough, but he was so fair and so caring. He never did relax the standard. He never wanted to compromise on quality, but he always had a hand out and a heart out to help somebody get to whatever level they needed to get to. He was a great American, and he was a great Arkansan, and he was a great law professor and law school dean, and this is a great tribute to him. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor Beebe. We're so glad you could share this afternoon with us. It's now my honor to introduce another one of our own, a celebrated graduate of the School of Law class of 1977, Dr. G. David Gearhart. Chancellor Gearhart's focus on students and his commitment to the university and the state of Arkansas are nothing short of inspiring. In this respect, he and Richard were cut from similar cloth. The great personal warmth Richard brought to being dean, Dave Gearhart has likewise brought to being chancellor. And the word is getting out. In just a few days, we will welcome a record number of high-achieving students, almost 21,000 strong, to the University of Arkansas. This is extraordinary news, and we owe a large measure of this great news to Chancellor Gearhart. Simply put, Dave Gearhart is helping to build a more prosperous Arkansas. Please welcome Chancellor Gearhart.
Thank you. Thank you, Dean Nance. Thank you for that kind introduction, and thank you as well for the absolutely magnificent job that you do as dean. All of us are so pleased with the leadership that you give to the University of Arkansas and the law school. Thank you. I would also like to thank Jesus Morales, who did the splendid work. Please be certain that you see the courtyard. It has exceeded every expectation that we had. Thank you, Jesus. I also want to recognize some special guests that are joining us today. Governor Beebe, as always, we're delighted to have you back on campus. You are a terrific example of what a degree from the law school can do for a person, and we appreciate the leadership that you give to the University of Arkansas and all of education. Also with us is our esteemed United States Senator and law school alumnus, Mark Pryor. Senator Pryor, would you please stand, sir? Thank you. We are blessed with an outstanding mayor of Fayetteville, Lionel Jordan. He is here. Thank you, Mayor, for all that you do for the city and for continuing to strengthen our excellent town-gown relationship. Mayor. We have with us today the former Chancellor of the University, Dr. John White, and his wife, Mary Libb. John, where are you? There he is. Stand up, sir. Chancellor Emeritus, you are looking tanned and fit. I'm looking gray and worn. That's the difference between a Chancellor and a Chancellor Emeritus. We're glad to have you back on campus. We also have several members of our governing board, the Board of Trustees, with us, including the Honorable Senator David Pryor, another distinguished law school graduate, Mark Waldrop, and John Tyson. Gentlemen, would you please stand? Where is John? I didn't see John. John's here. He's in the back. Mr. Tyson and his family made the lead gift to make this courtyard possible. And John, we want to pay particular thanks to you. We also have several members of the General Assembly with us. If you are a member of our General Assembly, would you please stand and be recognized? Thank you very much for being here. And I just want to say a quick word about two people that are on the stage, and that's Archie Schaeffer and Woody Bassett. None of this would have happened without their leadership and support. They did the fundraising, and they did a splendid job. Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. President, we are so very, very honored to have you with us today. I know that Richard was a dear friend of yours and Secretary Clinton's, and your presence today is a testament to the enduring qualities that you possess of humanity, loyalty, and lifelong friendship. Thank you, Mr. President, for gracing us with your presence today. Ladies and gentlemen, the last time that I was with President Clinton here at the law school was when he was teaching, and I actually took two courses from President Clinton, constitutional law, and the second was admiralty. Yes, admiralty. Do you remember that, Mr. President? That must have been around 1975 or 1976. You were an excellent teacher. You gave me a B. This is public information. I was very pleased to have it. I took criminal law from Secretary Hillary Clinton. She was a good teacher as well. She gave me a C. I want you to know that when I got my grade from Secretary Hillary Clinton, I got down on my hands and knees and thanked the good Lord that I passed. And then I cried like a baby. Well, Mr. President, you went on to do some pretty good things for yourself, leader of the free world, most admired person on the planet. And as you can see, Mr. President, I'm still here at the university. I feel in some way that our interaction in that course, Admiralty, contributed to your success in life, don't you think? I can tell you that it really helped me become Chancellor of the university. By the way, Mr. President, Professor Clinton, I do have one last question for you about that class. What the hell is Admiralty? Today we honor Dean Richard Atkinson, whose vision and legacy have helped shape this outstanding law school. It is humbling to consider the overwhelming positive difference Richard Atkinson made in education, in the legal community, and in the lives of so many people. Generations of lawyers have benefited from Dean Atkinson's tutelage and guidance. Each of us was inspired by him. I'd like everyone just to take a minute to think about it. Look around the room. Among you are world leaders, state leaders, education leaders, industry leaders, and thought leaders. Each one of us came away a better person having known Richard Atkinson. I have talked to countless people who point to Dean Atkinson as the person who most influenced their lives. He was inspiring, he was bigger than life, he expected a lot from all of us, all that we could give, and he applauded us when we delivered, encouraged us when we fell short. He expected great things from this law school and from the University of Arkansas. He loved this place. He envisioned a law school facility that was second to none, and he worked tirelessly to share this vision with graduates and friends. It's obvious he convinced us. This magnificent building is a testament to his hard work. He made it happen. He was committed to building a diverse, welcoming, nationally competitive school of law. And I'm proud to say that the University of Arkansas School of Law has a minority enrollment of 24% and now is ranked among the top 45 public law schools in the nation. Dean Atkinson dared us to dream and challenged us to succeed, and with his encouragement, you have done great things. Richard was fortunate to count on the love, the companionship, the care, and the support of our good friend, Dr. Michael Hollomon. Dr. Hollomon serves as medical director of the University of Arkansas for Medical Sciences Psychiatric Research Institute Northwest. As you know, he is actively involved in the life of the Northwest Arkansas community, particularly with its health care and the arts. He is a remarkable friend to the University of Arkansas and an inspiration in his own right. He is a dear friend to Jane and me. Would you please welcome Dr. Michael Hollomon.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome, Mr. President, Governor, beloved family, and dear friends. Hot enough for you? 5 years and 1 week ago, Richard, or Dick, died. We're all here because we loved him and want to honor him. Richard was so about celebrating this day and making every day count, and he surely did. We would start off our day with a simple Navajo prayer, "How will you live this day?" And the answer is, "Today I will live well." I feel after all this time and on this wonderful occasion, I can say, echoing Richard's favorite poem, "Thank you, God, for most this amazing day." Richard loved his life, his family, his friends, his students. He gave to us all, but he was so blessed and invigorated by what he was given back. Richard was born in Pittsburgh from a mixed marriage. A Pennsylvania woman and a North Carolina man at a time when the war between the states wasn't quite over. His grandfather Jasper was reported to say, "Rich, best day's work you ever did was when you brought that Yankee girl home." He was raised in Elkin, North Carolina, hence his wonderful warm accent that you can hear reflected in his brothers, John and Paul. They were all part of the all-American family. His mother and father, Louise and Rich, must have been the model for 150 sitcoms that show how nurturing parents can be. His father was president of the school board and was a strong advocate of the desegregation that was going on during that time. Richard graduated from Duke, as did his father, and then went to Yale Divinity School because of his passionate interest in civil rights and following the footsteps of so many activist ministers of the time. He called Divinity School one of the most intellectually challenging things he had ever done. As life unfolded and other choices presented, he went to Yale Law School. He made many lifelong friends there, among them President Clinton and Secretary of State Clinton. After a stint at a large Atlanta law firm, he followed the Clintons to Fayetteville for what he thought was a temporary move. Teaching grabbed his heart. Fayetteville grabbed his heart. He was passionate at what he did and served the school in many ways, culminating in his role as dean. He told me that he would teach as long as they would let him in the door. Another love of his was architecture. At Yale, he would often go to the lectures in architecture school. I don't know how many times we added on new spaces to our house. During the conception phase of this building, I would wake up in the middle of the night, find him going over the plans and trying to figure out the finances. He was passionate about it. Richard and Nancy Cozart made so many trips to tell people about what was happening in Fayetteville. Another love of ours was art. We discovered Jesus MOROLES, a sculptor from Texas with pieces in many major museums and collections. We made several trips to see his work. The idea of uniting these elements, wonderful art, great architecture, and a school that he loved was irresistible. He wrote Jesus and said, "I have a dream that you will design a courtyard." Jesus agreed. And he designed this wonderful sculptural space in the heart of the law school, a dreamscape, a destination place that we can all enjoy great art in the heart of the law school, in the midst of the students. This is where Richard would like to be remembered. Richard's real legacy, however, is not bricks and mortars or even great art, but the connections he made, the impact on lives, and the relationships that were built. There was a piece on KUAF, another Richard favorite, about the string theory of mathematics as it applies to relationships. What I understood is that relationships are like infinite strings that do not quit existing just because they disappear over the horizon. That's a very comforting thought. Richard's relationship to each of us is like the beginning of that string, the connection. All of these strings connect us, intertwine us, bind us, making us a family, making us a community. President Clinton honors that connection by being here today. He is, for me, the model of what a president should be. When you're with the president, you're touched by his charm, his charisma, intelligence, and intensity. As a state, we benefited from his leadership. As a nation, he touched all of our lives, providing us a model of sanity, working to make wrong things right. And not to forget, he did all this and left office with a budget surplus. Since he's left office, he continues to use his power and influence, working alone and with other presidents and world leaders on such projects as AIDS, Africa, tsunami relief, and Haiti. His energy and compassion are astounding. I'm very grateful that he could be here today. There's a very popular bumper sticker, "I miss Bill," but today he's here. I want us all to welcome our favorite son, President Clinton.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Dean Nance, thank you for hosting us. I want to thank Ella Lambie for that beautiful song, letting us sing along a little bit, at least in our minds. Governor, thank you for being a living example of the fact that we were not too scarred by our experience here. Senator Pryor and Senator Pryor, thank you both for what you have taught us about a family's dedication to public service and how well you do it. I love you. I'd like to thank John Tyson for making this moment possible. He's always at the back of the room, never really wants the credit, but I want to say more about that in a minute. First thing I did last night, I arrived from Pennsylvania, the Chancellor's old stomping ground, at 10 minutes to 2 in the morning last night. And I stayed over at Carnival Hall. I ran upstairs, threw off my suit, put on my jeans and my tennis shoes, and walked to this courtyard so I could see it at night in the cool with nobody around and make up my own mind. And I'm so grateful. I thank you, Jesus, for what you've done, but John, thank you. And to Woody and Archie, thank you for making it possible and the work you did. Now, Chancellor Gearhart, whom I have known for a long time, along with his wonderful wife and his brother who helped me when I started out, had the guts to stand up here and tell you that Hillary gave him a C and I gave him a B. So, in her absence, I think I'll have the guts to tell you why. Unlike me, when she gave him the grade, she had no idea she would one day run for office and need his support. And then he said, after all these years, what is Admiralty? I obviously inflated his grade. Believe it or not, the only reason I wound up teaching Admiralty at the law school was that no one else on the faculty knew anything about it, had even taken a course in it, and I at least had taken a course from the most highly regarded Admiralty teacher in the United States, the late Charles Black, who was a great friend of Hillary's and mine. Admiralty is maritime law that applies unless Congress otherwise stops it on every body of water in the United States that is now or ever was, and this is the important thing, ever was part of a navigable stream. Which means there are lakes that are totally dammed up in Arkansas that are still patrolled by the Coast Guard and subject to the Admiralty law, which is different. And if you know it, you're liable to make a ton of money before anybody knows what you have done to them. I had a student who showed up in 1992 in New Hampshire when I was running for president and said he was living in Boston and he had closed his law office and intended to drive me from dawn till dark for free for the next 6 weeks. I said, how can you afford to do that? He said, well, after I got out of law school, I went to Florida. I can afford to do it because I took Admiralty from you. And I handled a plane crash that landed in the water. And I made $100,000 on the fee. Now, back in the mid-'70s, that was real money. I swear to God. So there we are, 17 years later, the guy gives me 2 months of his life. So that's what Admiralty is. I recommend it to all of you. Now, I want to say a couple of things about why we're here, and I would not have missed it. And And I'm here for both of us because Hillary loved Richard Atkinson every bit as much as I did. And unlike me, she's got a day job and couldn't come. But I want to thank all the members of his family who are here for loving him and sticking with him and supporting him and for embracing the rest of us. And I'd like to ask all of them to stand one more time, so and be recognized. Everybody here from the Atkinson family, stand up here. And Michael, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for the love and devotion you gave to him, the strength and the order and the faithfulness. And I want to thank all the rest of you. As has already been said, Hillary and I met Dick Atkinson when we were law students. And he graduated a year after me, and he got this Tony job with this big law firm in Atlanta. It's the kind of thing most people would die to have, and, you know, guaranteed ticket to a big income and a cushy life. And I mean, he wasn't there a year, not even a year. And my phone rang one day up on the second floor of the old Waterman Hall, back when the law school was just a modest place and not a substitute for Pharaoh's pyramids like it is today. And the phone rang, and I picked up the phone, and it was Dick. And he said, here I am. I'll tell you exactly where he was working for Griffin Bell's old law school, law firm. Griffin Bell was Jimmy Carter's attorney general. And he said, you know, this is a really nice place, and they treat me great, and the work is occasionally interesting, and I don't give a rip about it. He was nothing if not honest, as we all know. He said, I just don't care. He said, I don't care if I make $1 million. I don't care if I get to be a partner. I don't care. I want to do something that helps people. And you know about all this, so talk to me about what my public service options are. How can I just make a living, make enough money to pay my bills and have a decent life and do something good? And he asked me about, and he knew that Hillary had been involved in the legal aid clinic in the law school and, when we were all at Yale. And he asked me about that and a bunch of other stuff. And just on an impulse, I said, why don't you come down here and do a job interview? And he thought Fayetteville was the other side of the moon. You know, and I said, look, you know, after all, you're a redneck from North Carolina. It's a little out of the way for you to be snooty about me living in Fayetteville. And I said, besides that, if you come here, you'll like it. It's narcotic. You'll never get it out of your system. So then I ran in and told Hillary that he'd called and that, you know, this is, and that I'd impulsively invited him, and he said, okay. And I said, so Hillary, now we got to get him invited. And she agreed it was a good idea, so we started hitting on the law school people. Anyway, I wrote a letter and recommending him, and it was probably a little too earnest. You know, being too earnest is a province of the young, and oh my God, we were young. But I said if he were hired, he would bring great credit and humanity to the university. May have been earnest, but it sure was true. He came to the faculty in 1975, and though we left, he gave it 30 years, the whole rest of his life. Dedicated to students who thought of him as far more than a teacher or a dean, a role model, a mentor, a friend, and no mean poet either, I might add. As Michael said, he continued to teach even when some people told him he'd gotten all out of it he could, he ought to do something else. He just thought it was too much fun to give up. When he was dean, he made this law school more diverse and bigger and better, and those of us who taught here in those long ago days can hardly recognize it. I was talking to Doug Martin today. You know, his Hillary, the little sign out front that says Hillary and I once taught here tells what we taught and says that Hillary started the legal clinic, which is true, but it bears no relation to what you have now. You're walking over here now and there's a real door that says legal clinic. And you look in and there's a directory of services in the legal clinic. There's like 8 different things. The legal clinic, when she started it, was getting Doug Martin's dad, F.H., to convince Judge Tom Butt that Hillary was not a communist for wanting a legal clinic. That was a major public policy advance in the history of our state. And then it was her and 3 students, and dragging me around on the weekend to interview reluctant witnesses in unlikely places over obscure cases. That's what the legal clinic was. Now go look at it. A lot of great things happen. And Dean Nance, I'm glad you acknowledge them, and I'm glad you're here to carry it on. But this Courtyard is here not really because of all the wonderful things he did as a teacher or as a dean. He was far more than the sum of his accomplishments, far more than the sum of his intellect, his personality, or his imposing presence. In ways that, still after all these years, defy my ability to describe. He was graced with a spirit of love like no other I ever encountered. And Jesus, he would love this courtyard. He would love that you saved the old pin oak. He would love that you made it almost deco, and the flooring, and that the flowers are there, and the balance is there, that the serenity is there. It reflects that spirit of grace and love that in some way or another embraced us all. And as long as that courtyard is there, that spirit will find its way into young people who never knew him and wouldn't have a clue what I'm saying. And it will remind those of us who did know him how lucky we were to have shared a part of our own fleeting lives with him. And who knows, maybe it will remind us to make our lives more than the sum of our achievements and our attributes. In the end, that was the gift that he offered to every one of us who ever knew and loved him. Thank you.
Chancellor Gearhart, I haven't sweated this much since I was in that class of Hillary's with you back in the fall of 1974. And I did have President Clinton for constitutional law, and he was a good teacher. And Mr. President, thank you for that beautiful message. Thank you for being here today. It means so much to all of us that you could be here and be a part of this. And thanks again for bringing our friend Dick Atkinson to Fayetteville all those many years ago. In doing so, you and Hillary brought to our community, our university, and our law school a man that we would all come to love, and a man who made a profound difference in all of our lives. As Chancellor Gearhart mentioned earlier, Archie and I had the privilege to serve as co-chairs of the fundraising committee for the Richard B. Atkinson Memorial Courtyard. More than 400 people made gifts to make this courtyard possible, and many of those who gave are here today. And Archie and I simply want to thank, on behalf of the law school, on behalf of Michael, on behalf of the university and everyone, how grateful we are for your support and how much we appreciate your generosity and leadership. The generosity of the people who are here today and all the people who contributed to this wonderful courtyard speaks to the love and admiration that all of us had for Dick Atkinson. He made this law school better, he made this university better, he made this community better, and most of all, because of his caring friendship and his genuine interest in every single one of us, he motivated us, he lifted us up, he helped us, he enriched our lives, and in doing so, I think he made each of us better. He was a special person, and this courtyard is a glorious and special memorial to our dear friend. It is altogether fitting that we dedicate this courtyard today in the everlasting memory of our friend Dick Atkinson, and thank you to all of you who made this happen and who made it possible. Archie?
Thank you, Woody. Being co-chair of the committee that raised money for this memorial was one of the easiest jobs I ever had. Raising money for a memorial for Dick Atkinson is not something that's very difficult. Working for Tyson Foods and having the support of John Tyson and the Tyson family, making the lead gift made it very easy. Many of you in the room contributed as well, but the support, contribution from Michael and Dick's family and all of you makes this a really special day, and we appreciate all of you very much. Dick was a dear friend. He and Michael were great neighbors to me and my wife Beverly, lived just down the street from us, and we loved him dearly and miss him every day. But we are pleased to have all of you here today to celebrate Dick's life. We're about through. We're going to watch a very brief tribute video of Dick's life, and after that we're all adjourned to the atrium in the law school, and you'll be able to go from there to the courtyard, but it's cool in the atrium. So with that, we'll show the video and then we're adjourned.
This is a $5.5 million project, 30,000 new square feet, and we have we're still dreaming. We've got a phase 2 that will complete that building and really, really make that Central feel like a mall, like a piazza. Really is what we want here. A Roman piazza is going to make it seem a little more enclosed for the student union. And then within us, we'll have our own separate private courtyard that we plan to develop to be a very handsome space. What else it's done for me, just personally, is just to remind me of how rich in terms of experience here and success our law graduates have been. It's just amazing depth contribution to the community around them. So I'm going out, and it reminds me, it just makes me so proud of our alumni. And I love seeing that, and I love seeing the passion that they have for their legal experience, to say, we're glad we went there. And so that's been very satisfying on a personal level to me. We all had the experience after a death or a traumatic event here. We get refocused, know what's important, celebrate the good things, and then we lose it a little bit. And what I'm hoping is that we will not this time let that go, that we will have seen the consequences to be so positive that we'll be determined. That's going to have to be a conscious effort, but determined to maintain that level of involvement that with both the school and the alumni that the campaign has brought.